Welcome to ZwitterCo Unfiltered. We've got a special podcast today
Special episode.
from the CheeseExpo in Milwaukee. So welcome to the audience from Milwaukee. This has been the largest CheeseExpo on record, over 4,000 attendees, largest exhibition hall that they've ever had, and I think it's all based on the demand for protein.
And that's exactly what I've been hearing from everybody is that it made it easier for these end users to send more people simply because the price of protein is so good that, and that's what I've been saying for years, being a whey guy, that the cheese now is just a byproduct.
So let's not piss off any of the listeners. We still need the cheese side, at least for now.
At least to provide the whey.
To provide whey. So the keynote address yesterday was very interesting. Tom Tench, the CEO of Glanbia Dairy Nutrition, spoke, and he was talking, of course, about the trend. And a couple of things that I thought were really interesting. One was he said, at least for Glanbia, demand for protein has been going up 16% a year. And that's what they're forecasting out in the future, at least that. And they're expecting it to continue. Of course, that does dwarf the demand for cheese.
Right.
So it'll be very interesting to see if there's, of course, we need more milk. And also to see how the process has changed. Will there be more, my God, my brain just went dead.
Well, and one of the things that we're seeing is more of the plants are making MPC now, right? MPC, MPI, and that's become a big trend, right? Completely skipping the whole cheese step and just concentrating the proteins right in the milk. And I think that's a fantastic trend as well. It's very interesting, right? And the milk producers are actually growing and making money, right?
Right.
And having grown up on a dairy farm, it's exciting for me to actually see these guys who have been toiling away forever and ever, finally making a few bucks, right?
Yep.
And as that grows, then the whole economy grows. It really does. As ag grows, the economy grows with it. And that's exciting.
And of course, the word I was thinking of before was native whey.
Oh, sure.
It'd be interesting to see if there's more native whey, which, take out the casein with MF and then go with take the whey protein directly from
just
the milk.
Extracting the native protein or the serum protein, or there's so many different names for it, right?
Yeah.
And extracting that before they even make the cheese. And in all actuality, when they do that, it makes the cheese actually better because it takes away some of the quality issues that we've seen in cheese for years by removing that whey protein. They don't need the whey protein in it anyway. Right. So once they figure out the standard of identity with the milk itself, I think that once USDA can change that dimension, right? I think we're going to see a lot more of it. I think we're going to see a lot more MF plants at the beginning of the process.
Yeah, interesting. The other thing that I thought was very interesting was, again, Tom Tench, what he had said was that the U.S. is about 10 years ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to the protein and the whole GLP-1 move. Right now, I believe the other data point he said was somewhere around 12% of Americans are taking GLP-1 drugs right now.
That's interesting. 12%. That's a huge number.
But a larger number, I think, have tried it. And again, there's just too much for me to remember all the comments. But it was a great presentation, and there's it was something like 39% of Americans in a survey said that they expect to eat more protein in the coming year than in the past.
I believe that.
So it's a trend that has started and looks like it's going to be around for quite a while, both here in the U.S. as well as then the rest of the world.
Yep.
So how the industry, it's really an opportunity for dairy.
Absolutely.
And so that was really interesting. Wanted to talk about the conference. It's been a great conference. Of course, one of the highlights of any expo like this is meeting old friends and seeing existing customers. I know half the dairy world knows Scott.
And it's like old home week for me to come here and I get to see all my old friends, from throughout my career. You do this for 30 years, and I've been coming to this particular conference, whether it's here or Madison, every year since 2012. And it's just exciting and fun for me to see all my old friends. Been a lot of fun.
That's been good. So tell me, what some of the questions that you've been getting here at the conference.
So as you know, John, yesterday I gave a little talk and in exhibition B over there. And one of the big things that keeps coming up is replacing NF with SF. We get a higher flux rate. We can take out some lactose. And it's exciting because now we can actually clean an NF system with chlorine.
Yep.
And a lot of times what we're seeing in the NF system is a buildup of bacteria that we struggle to get out. Being able to use chlorine has been a big help. Also, removing that enzyme step during the wash, which is the most expensive step, and it's the longest step. We're actually able to turn the systems around faster, get back on product sooner, and that seems to be a very big interest to everyone.
How, both from talking to customers and of course from your days at Hydrate, that it just seems like the cleaning program used for that final concentration step is just, it's longer than obviously at the front end of the system.
Absolutely.
What are you seeing there in terms of time?
We're getting to the point where I think we can cut a complete hour out, plus the flush, right? So that's a big water savings as well. And sustainability is become a key word for everybody in the industry, and we're hearing it all over the place. And most of these booths are actually addressing sustainability in some fashion. And by cutting out a complete wash step and a flush, we're actually able to attain some of this as well ourselves, which is a big deal.
Yeah, one of the questions that I commonly get, of course, no surprises, is what's the price of the
Sure.
membrane? And we're upfront. We're selling a value-added product. It is something that we are trying to get people to look at life cycle costs. And the fact you're talking about, the final concentration step, saving time, helping people with sanitizing the system better, as well as increasing productivity. With the price of whey, the way it is, and the demand, the need to keep driving output, every plant is being pushed. How do I make more? So when I'm asked about price, I try to go back to, wait a second here, guys. If we can increase your productivity, we can deliver so much value. And so the way we're handling price is just, we are really flexible, especially on first installations. And what we're looking at is, it's certainly a premium over a standard membrane, but we're looking at it as a percentage of the savings, of the value we create.
Well, how many times have I told you this, John? Any production manager or plant manager that's worth his salt knows exactly what 15 minutes of time is worth to his plant,
Yep.
let alone an hour. So, when that adds up over the course of a year, it makes a big difference.
Right.
And it doesn't take long to do that math. It's
Oh, yeah.
pretty simple math.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And so, but the way I always answer that question is I'm always upfront. Yeah, we are selling a value-added product, but we're very flexible. And so we will either do an upfront sale with a longer warranty than what other people offer. We offer a subscription model so that people can pay based on their savings and pay over time. And basically, we see it as a no-lose situation for people.
Absolutely.
So that's a question I get. What conversations stick out in your mind?
It's so exciting to talk to these folks here. And like I said, all my old friends, right? And they're all very curious. And I've told them over and over again, the thing that drives me with this company is that it really, truly is something new and different, right?
Mhm.
For years, people have come up to us in the industry and said, we have this new, whatever it is, right? And generally it's smoke and mirrors. This time it's not. This is the real deal, John. And it's so exciting to be able to talk to people and tell them. So, we're always willing to put our best foot forward, and we're always willing to back up what we say. And we're seeing the proof in the field. This is a great example, right? This is the flux and protein in the permeate trends for a large MPC plant in the Southwest. And we're seeing it over and over again. This is our element compared to a 10K, our SF compared to a 10K. And yet we have better flux and better protein retention. And this is just after a couple of months. Wait till we're 9 or 10 months into this trial, and we're going to see that 10K start to soar up, and we're going to see our SF stay right where it is. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yep. Definitely a topic that that I've had with people is often how do you qualify a new membrane? You know, how does ZwitterCo get qualified for full install? And so a lot of the discussions I've had here this week are around understanding how people want to test. And some people start at the front end of the system, others start at the back end of the system. And so much depends on each plant's individual process. You've got some people like your example here, this MPC 75 processor, who has one very large system, 15 stages. And so they've obviously got to consider front end, back end. I had a conversation with a customer who's been testing our membranes on the high solids end, and now they want to test them on the low solids end.
Right.
And then of course there are others who have multiple systems. They may have a UF1, a 2, if they're in a WPI, have an MF, and then have another UF after the MF, a final concentration. It could be a UF or an NF. So they got multiple systems. And so for those customers, I'm talking about, well, why don't we just look at it on a system by system basis?
Right.
And that way we're kind of breaking it up.
And the other thing we really should talk about as well, John, is RO and ROing the UF permeate and the benefits we get from that. And so there's a multitude of things that we can do to shore up the customer's issues. You know, even if they don't think they're having an issue, we can still make your process better. Because as an old production guy, right, my big thing was always, how can you get more yield? How can you produce more product? We need this and this. This is an answer. This is really going to help my old friends that are doing the same thing I used to do.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely had more conversations about RO than I was expecting. And I'm happy about that because, I mean, that's the product that we've got full installations on. They're on the effluent wastewater side, but we've got a couple years of experience there. So we've got a lot of data that we can point to, and we've obviously demonstrated the ability to remove enzymes.
Well, and another exciting thing too is another RO installation that we have, John, right? It's at a dairy producer in South Dakota. They were running their system on, basically an effluent stream where they collect all of their flushes from every single piece of equipment, all the production flushes. They put all of those flushes into a silo, and then they run that product through an RO. And then they take that water from the RO and they feed it back into a different part of the plant. And it's very exciting because they were washing that system every day, John, using 2, sometimes 3 enzyme washes, right? And the baseline pressure was almost to 600. They were struggling every day. They had to shut it down early a lot of times and get on the wash. Now they're running almost every day. Or every time they run, 72 hours. 72 hours without washing at all. And we've completely removed all of the enzyme steps. Right. So we're turning it around faster. They're getting longer runs. And at the end of the day, they're thrilled. I mean, what a good thing for them.
Yeah, I'm really excited about some of the upcoming demonstrations that we have. We've got RO going in on some UF permeates I was talking to someone about yesterday, and we've got a skim milk RO that's going to be going on soon. So that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to have the data on that one.
Well, and that's what makes this kind of an event fun, right? Because we get to kind of tout what we can do, right? And everybody's here. And it's just nice to see them all.
Right. It was, probably so far my favorite conversation was early in the show yesterday. One of our customers who's been using our membranes came by and saw the booth and I was showing this data from this MPC plant, and they said, "Where's our data?" And that was just that really brought a smile. And of course, I pulled out a brochure, and I'm like, "Oh, here's
your data." And isn't that fantastic? Doesn't that look great? And one of the things that I enjoyed was he pointed at a couple of spots where you could see that there had been an issue, right? Because of a bad wash, or somebody didn't quite do it right or whatever. But the recovery, and even he pointed that out. He says,
Yeah.
"Look here, where it kind of crashed, but then immediately came back with the next wash."
when they washed it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that was good. That was probably my favorite conversation
Yeah.
there. So, I mean, it's been a great show, and this is day 2 for our audience, which is why we're able to talk about the conversations we've had the last couple days. We are looking forward to more of these. We're going to be at ADPI in a couple weeks.
Yep.
And then we'll be at MTF in June, and then we'll be at International Weight Conference later this year.
It's going to be fun.
So,
and it's good to have these conversations. It's good to see everybody, and it's just been fun to be back in the mix of it all, right?
Exactly. So appreciate you tuning in to this. It's a little shorter than usual, but appreciate you tuning in. We wanted to have a special CheeseExpo podcast, and we wanted to experiment and see if we were able to do it. And let us know. Please send in comments, questions. The entire series of ZwitterCo Unfiltered is available on our website, along with all of our case studies and other resources for Evolution products, as well as our other products for water and wastewater.
And we'd love to see you at MTF. Come see us.